enjoy yourself. Sid, what up, bro? Some good vegan food out here. Stop by, check it out. It feels good to be home, feels good to be home, feels good to be home. Oh, you gotta listen to me. Hey, hey, oh, ooh, ow! What's going on, everybody? Marcus Triller coming at you live from Elizabeth, New Jersey. It feels good. I just got off my 9 to 5. I feel hood. But if you look into my eyes, you'll probably think I was up to no good, but as a matter of fact, it was something that nature has given to me. Information that I just had to not only see, but to experience it. Much love, guys. Today I want to talk about language. And how in these language, we have this spelling. And with this spelling, there is spells. Literally spells. So when we look at spells, we think, you mean that shit that witchcraft is like, or that thing that, brujas, witches be doing, right? Well, if you want to look at it like that, yeah, but we're the witches then, because we have been taught this specific language and it has these specific spellings. Now, I am no expert in this. I'm just a student. And my teachers is, my past and, my everyday activity, my everyday life is my number one best teacher because it gives me wisdom. But I also listen to, these books. I pay attention to these books. I pay attention to the language, the information that I feel in my mind, and I'm working on my vocabulary. And this year I found it was so important for me to get my act right in a sense of how my language was like, how my language is like, because I'm still working on it. Okay, hey, I was pretty much brought up in a great household. Granted, my parents were never perfect. They're not perfect, just like we're not all perfect. But I was taught, essential stuff, essential family values, and everything like that. And my family has always been close to God. I had religious families. I had non-religious families, but they're all what you would like to say. They all believe in a higher power. They all believe in God, right? And throughout my journey, it was tough. In the beginning, it was tough. I learned a lot through adversity, from getting into DUIs, from getting into fights. I even got in trouble with the law. Not so happy not happy about those actions, but it was my experience that I had to go through to learn, to become better, to be better than who I was yesterday. Because I could have just been stuck in that realm, been stuck in that rhythm of life, and where was that going to take me, right? Not so far. So when I decide to change my mind, when I decide to change my values and what I really hold dearly inside my heart, then that's when I was looking at life through another angle, and I had a paradigm shift, if you will. And that's when I learned, oh, this is something new. I like this. This is like where my spirit was aligning me with that. And I chased that feeling, and I always wanted to further grow myself, further involve myself with things that are going to make me feel uncomfortable, things that are going to teach me something, things that are going to teach me the essential things to learn, so I can grow how I want to be, become. And once I found out the power of the mind, the power of self-awareness, the power of just awareness in general, the power of just decalcifying our pineal gland, which is our third eye, which is, which controls our sleep patterns, controls, our intuition, which is pretty much our mind's eye. This is, we could bring things to fruition if we see it in this eye. And if we and once we decalcify this, because a lot of calcification comes through the highly acidic foods that we eat, through the drinks, the fluoride that's in your water, just a lot of these things, from the shit that's in the air with these chemtrails and contrails, whatever you want to call it, all that bullshit. Because they don't want us to win, but we want to win. We're gonna win as long as we get our mind right, as long as we have our third eye open, as long as we realize that this is much more bigger than just a material world. This is something spiritual now. This is something that they want to they want our attention. You know what I mean? It's a war going on outside. They want your attention, baby. So definitely get that mind right. Definitely decalcify that third eye. Surround yourself with go-getters, go-givers to get, right? Because we need to give to get, right? So surround yourself with people that are positive, people that are going to give you such wonderful vibes, positive vibrations, some good vibes, baby. Because once you surround yourself with people like that, man, people that are going somewhere, people that are going places, then what would happen? What would happen? You will go places. You would have that vibe. You would attract other people just like that as well. Because we are who we surround ourselves with. And once you surround yourself with people that are great, you're gonna become great. Because you don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great. You have to start going places, going to areas and where it's gonna challenge you. Surrounding yourself with people that inspire you, and becoming humble and saying, hey man, like yo, like I want to learn from you. What's working for you? Asking them questions like, hey, what books do you read? Hey, how can I learn from what you know about that thing? And in the beginning, my mentor was just books and audiobooks and YouTube. And it's great to have mentors in life, people that can show you the ropes, people that can bring you up and teach you game. Because let's face it, our parents and our family members, they might all have the right and the best intentions for us, right? But do they really have the results that we are really seeking, that we are truly seeking in life? Okay, they might be happy, they might have some money, they might have a good house, they may have good values and everything like that, and you might want that, but you also want more. And they're telling you there's no money in sales, there's no money in customer service, there's no money in door-to-door, there's no money in pitching these products, there's no money in retail, there's no money in real estate, there's no money in real estate investing, there's no money in the stock market. Money doesn't grow on trees, money can't buy happiness. Money is the root of all evil. All these belief systems, all these things that our ancestors have been embedded in their subconscious mind. That's the spirit of lack. That is the habit of want. People that really want more, but they just settled, they just conformed. They've been taught that money is the root of all evil and money cannot buy happiness. And what do you think? Money grows on trees. You know what I mean? For every penny saved, it's a penny earned, whatever. I don't know. Is it that? But it's all these things, all these belief systems, all these sayings that embed. So the power of language is serious. Brings it to the power of language. Another area where the power of language is like words have power. Once we understand the emotion behind the word, right? It's like the emotion behind the word is what stretches the slingshot. Once you release it is when you're saying it. So it when people say like they'll F you, like fuck you, if they say that, there's power in that word right there. There was a study I've seen, you guys might have seen it as well. There's these studies that people talking to plants and they're saying I love you. They're saying words like thank you. They're speaking good language. They're speaking love. They're speaking from an emotional level of love. And you see these plants being watered by water and everything like that, and they grow beautifully, even with water molecules. There was another study with the Japanese, and where they were speaking to water. They were speaking to, and not only that, but there's also studies in like the frequency and the vibration of music, and the sound. and where it develops these patterns, these harmonious patterns, these patterns that look beautiful. And when people did these studies in Japan, speaking to water and then doing a close-up with the water molecules, they were able to see these wonderful snowflakes. It was amazing. And the water molecules that were spoken, the language that were in these ugly water molecules were hateful words, were deriving from fear. There was one that said, "I can't stand you. I can't stand you." That phrase alone, it left such a dirty looking, ugly shaped snowflake. You know what I mean? Because you have to remember, they froze the water, something like that. They froze the water, and then they kind of like did something to where they can measure the water molecules of the water and see it with, like not like a magnifying glass obviously, but like a microscope, and they were able just to see a pattern and like, voice, sound, and the power of language, being spoken to the water and stuff like that. But so the power of words, man, and so I saw that, and I was like, hey, man, since we are mostly made up of water, we're almost 80% water, and we are talking to ourselves every day. Our thoughts, that's deriving from our soul. That's deriving from like inside our body, not even like our flesh, but this is inside. Thoughts is intangible. It's like boom, like voice, right? But not necessarily voice in our heads, but like the thought, because that voice that you have in your head that you think you're talking to yourself, you are talking to yourself, but that voice, that's our soul talking, because we can see it, but we can't, like, we can see our, it being pronounced in our heads, and we can hear it, but that's our soul. So with that voice, the inner celebrations, the inner conflicts that we have in our minds, right? The conversation, the language that we have in our minds, the words, have these emotional push to it. And behind these emotional push to it, it has a spell, because of the spelling of the language that we're speaking to our heads. So with these spells, you can look it up, man. Like I'm not an expert on these things, but I'm just learning, and I'm just passing along information as I'm growing. Because remember, I want to become the best version of myself, and I will not know it all today or tomorrow, but I'm acquiring the information that I'm learning, and I'm just passing it on to you, so we can grow together, and you can look at these sources yourself, and we could all grow together and just really just motivate other people to just awaken that third eye, baby, keeping that third eye lit, you know what I mean, and eating right, and taking care of our bodies, self-love, loving others, promoting that good vibes, baby. It's all about that good vibe. It's all about great energy from here on out. It's always been like that. So I wish you nothing but love, guys, and I really recommend, really recommend, if you're dealing with people, if you want to open up that nonprofit, if you want to own multiple businesses, if you want to own a real estate empire, if you want to go out there and sell your way to fortune and fame, then if you want to become the best version of yourself like me, if you want to if you're in sales, if you're in a business of caring for people, if you're in a business that have a service to lead to as many people as possible, I recommend this to you. Or if you're an entrepreneur, then I really recommend this to you, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. Now, I know a lot of you people already know about this, and those that don't know about this, man, come on, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? This book alone has produced 100 million millionaires already. You know what I mean? This guy, Napoleon Hill, a legend, godfather of personal development. He talks about these causes of failure, and how one must master the mind and one must master the circumstances, and it teaches you to become a better person. It teaches you how to money master the game. It teaches you how to really have such strong self-discipline, and surround yourself with a mastermind, and where you can I'm not gonna tell you, but just as mastermind principles, has self-education, has a power of language, has such great information on self-talk, and not just affirmation, but auto-suggestion and rewiring our subconscious mind, and it's deep stuff. But Think and Grow Rich, guys, I really recommend it, by Napoleon Hill. Yeah, so much love, guys. I wish you nothing but happiness, success, beautiful people in your life, beautiful things, things that are going to inspire you, things that are going to move you forward. It's nothing but love, peace, prosperity, and happiness.